What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports, and this long day of baseball is finally over. The Phillies and the Braves, they played a doubleheader today, and both teams split said doubleheader. Phillies winning Game 1 by a score of 5-4, which was the very most stressful ending I've ever seen in my goddamn life. And then in the nightcap, the Phillies get blown out by a score of 9-3. Zack Wheeler on the mound had a very good first 3 innings, and it looked like it was just going to be a pitcher's duel between him and Chris Sale on the mound on the other side for the Braves. But fourth inning and on, Zack Wheeler just blew up. Just something just flipped. Switch just flipped. It wasn't the same Zack Wheeler. Allows 4 runs to score. And that's basically the ball game, because I just had a feeling the offense was not going to get anything off of Chris Sale, because that's how nasty he was on the mound today. And granted, they did have a chance to come back into the game when it was 4-0. They do have bases loaded with 2 outs. Alec Bohm could not drive the runs home in that situation. But that's why it was, as I said this on Tuesday's recap, because we all knew that Wednesday's game was going to be rained out, most likely forcing a doubleheader for today. That's why winning Game 1 of this series on Tuesday was so important against Spencer Strider. You won that game by a score of 2-0, and knowing, most likely, that yesterday was going to get postponed because of how bad the rain was, you knew you were going to be playing a doubleheader today, most likely. And as, you know, it's common that everybody in baseball says that doubleheaders, they're very hard to sweep, that you're not really going to see a sweep from one team in a doubleheader. And that fact really stands true today, as both teams split. Phillies win Game 1, Braves win Game 2, and after all of that is said and done, you end up winning the series 2 of 3. So you win another series. That is your, 4th straight series win in a row. So basically, realistically, ever since you got swept by the New York Mets, I think you've only lost 1 series since then. So you're still putting up a pretty good stretch of winning a lot of baseball. And granted, a lot of people wanted to come into this series and really bury the Braves. You still won the series, so that's the most important thing to do at the end of the day. And I think after this series as a whole, I think the Braves are, 9.5 games back of first place. And coming into this series, I think they were around the same point, maybe 8.5, maybe 9.5. So they're basically the same as where they came into this series. Maybe not, maybe a little bit worse. So you did your job at the end of the day. Now, granted, there was still a chance to sweep the series with Zack Wheeler on the bump, and you would think that it would be the best possible chance to sweep the doubleheader and sweep the series. But for some reason, Zack Wheeler just completely blew up. I have no idea. I have no idea what caused that. But positives, some negatives that you could take from these 2 games, majorly from Game 1 is that obviously it's going to 100% be the case that we're going to be talking about this after every single game, is the bullpen. The bullpen really needs help. The bullpen needs more depth. The bullpen needs more high leverage arms. And it's kind of becoming a glaring sight that Matt Strom is becoming a little more unreliable for you. He allows a couple of more runs in the day cap at the doubleheader. Allows the Braves to tie the game when it was, I believe it was 4-2 at that point. You just need more bullpen help. Jordan Romano, the ugliest save I've ever seen in my life. He got lucky because he allowed a leadoff walk to Albies, and then Rafael Marchan, who basically Game 1 was the Rafael Marchan game. I did not expect that. But he throws out Albies trying to steal second base. And then Romano strikes out Austin Riley with 98-mile-an-hour heat right down the middle of the plate. Riley could not catch up to it. You're thinking, okay, got bailed out there. You got 2 outs. Now get the final out. And then a walk. And then a walk. And then a walk. And then a walk. And then a walk, and then a walk, and a walk, and a walk. It felt like there was 50 walks in a row. 50 walks. There was a walk to Ozuna, then it was a double by Olsen, and then it was a walk to Murphy, and then you're facing, I believe it was White, the last batter of the game, technically. Well, yes, not technically. He was the last batter of the game. He even gets into a full count in that at-bats, and got probably the luckiest strike call in the world, honest to God. It was on the lower part of the plate. Wasn't a strike, but I'll take it because it was the pitch that ended the game, and you got the save. It was very fucking ugly. It was very fucking ugly, but you did get the job done. Game 1 was also just weird in the general sense that there were so many fly balls in Game 1 for both teams that just fucking died at the warning track. Specifically, majority of the fly balls that were the center field. Trey Turner had a couple of those that died right at the warning track. Kyle Schwarber had one in the first inning that died right at the warning track. Max Kepler got robbed of a home run by Michael Harris in center field. Basically, the ball died at the warning track, but Harris still basically robbed him of a home run, making the leaping grab. So there was a bunch of those for the Phillies. The Braves had a bunch of those situations. I think Riley had a ball that died right at the warning track. White had so many fly balls that went to center field that died at the warning track. There were so many of those in the afternoon portion of the doubleheader. That was fucking crazy because Kepler's, Michael Harris robbing Kepler, that would have been a 3-run shot. Trey Turner probably would have had a couple of and Trey Turner, the ball that died, the second ball for him that died at the warning track was right before Kyle Schwarber gives the Phillies, I believe it was a 4-2 lead at this point. Yes, it was a 4-2 lead at this point, hitting the, crushing a solo shot. So think about it. If Trey Turner hits a solo shot, that goes over the wall. It's would have been very helpful. Would have been very helpful in that standpoint. But yeah, that was the weirdness of Game 1. Rafael Marchan hits a 2-run shot. He throws a couple of runners out trying to steal second base. He brings home the winning run because the pitcher for the Braves at that point, I believe it was Hernandez, could not find the strike zone. He was basically Romano in the bottom of the 8th inning. He was not commanding his fastball at all, could not put anything in the strike zone, and then you get bases loaded for Rafael Marchan, and I believe it was a full count or I think it was a 2-strike count, and dude just completely he spikes the pitch basically into the dirt, which hits Marchan's, grazes over Marchan's feet, and he gets hit by the pitch in the process, and it brings home the run because Marchan can go to first base on the hit by pitch. So it does become 5-4. So Marchan had 3 RBIs on the day. Good for Marchan. The home run was nice. I overall had a good day. Had a really good day at the plate. Still, there were chances to bring home more runs, and obviously, like I said, there was a lot of balls that died at the warning track, which probably could have resulted in more home runs, because seriously, there were so many of those that died right at the warning track. It's not even funny. It really just is. But Christopher Sanchez, how to judge his game, it wasn't as bad as Zack Wheeler, no way in hell, but he wasn't crisp either. He was getting into a lot of deep counts. There wasn't a single clean inning for Christopher Sanchez in today's game. A lot of deep counts, a lot of runners on base. He basically was getting through and getting by with those situations, but eventually sometimes you're just allowing too much damage, you're allowing too much pressure and too much stress, that when you allow a base runner, the Braves are eventually going to score, and that's what they did in that 6th inning, and they drove in a couple of runs. They drove Christopher Sanchez out of the game, which forced the Phillies to go into their bullpen. So Christopher Sanchez's stat line, he finishes at 5 2/3, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts on 88 pitches, 52 strikes. He just couldn't find the strike zone. His command has been very off for a little bit here. Not to say that he has been drastically bad, because he has not been drastically bad this year, but it definitely feels like there's a little bit of a difference from Christopher Sanchez last year compared to this year, and I think it's basically just the command. The command is just completely off the rails, and he feels like he's walking a lot more guys, and I think there's a correlation to this, and this is just me hypothesizing right here. Cannot even say hypothesizing right here. I don't know why I'm even talking with a lisp. I don't have a lisp. I don't even know why I'm lisping that. I can't talk, but hypothesizing that for Christopher Sanchez, because last year he was not throwing with the high velocity that he does this year. He wasn't throwing 97. He wasn't throwing 98 on his sinker. He was more in like the 93, 94, and then when he needs to, he can jack it up there to 95, 96 or something like that. But mostly last year, his command was very crisp. He really commanded the strike zone very well, and he didn't walk a lot of guys. That was one of the big things about Christopher Sanchez the past few years, is that he doesn't walk a lot of people, and he doesn't allow free passes. this year that basically has been a drastic change. He is allowing a lot of free passes, and he is losing command of the strike zone. And I kind of do think it has something to do with the tick and velocity that he's had this year, because now he's throwing 97, 98, and it kind of feels like with that uptick in velocity, maybe it's throwing his command completely off. Maybe I can just be way off base in that. It's just a weird year so far for Christopher Sanchez with the command, but I kind of feel like that is a correlation where he wasn't really a flamethrower type of pitcher. He had really good command, and now that he's throwing more of a heavy sinker, heavy fastball, whatever you want to call it, he's losing his command a little bit on the off-speed stuff. And I think those are correlated there as to why his season is not as crisp, more so with the command and the walks. That's what I judge right there for Christopher Sanchez. So his start wasn't bad by any means. It just wasn't crisp. That's basically what it was. He wasn't able to go the full 6 innings. He just threw too many stress pitches, too many pressure innings, allowing too many base runners. That's basically was the day for Christopher Sanchez. Too many full counts, too many base runners, and everything like that. But it wasn't anything terrible. Only allowed 2 runs, but it could have been way better if he were just able to find command of the strike zone. Kirkering came in. He allowed inherited runners to score, but he managed to limit the damage. And he also came out for another inning of work. He managed to get out of those situations. Matt Strom comes in for the top of the 8th inning, and he allows 2 runs to score a solo shot by Murphy. Then eventually an RBI scores as well. 2 runs there. The Braves tie the game. Ruiz has to come in to clean up the mess, and he gets out without any further damage. And then Jordan Romano gets to save, but 1 hit, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts on 24 pitches. He only threw 11 strikes. He couldn't find the strike zone either. My God. But so overlooking just in general with game 1, just look at a lot of the innings for the Braves. I don't think there was a clean inning the entire day for Phillies pitching in the day part of the doubleheader. A single in the top of the 1st inning for the Braves, 2 walks in the top of the 2nd inning for the Braves, a 2-out single in the 3rd, a 2-out single in the 4th. A leadoff single in the top of the 5th, but that was negated by the double play, so I guess you could count that as a 1-2-3 inning, but really not. Top 6, the run score. Top 7 was a 2-out single. Top 8, obviously, Matt Strom allowed a couple of runs to score, and obviously top of the 9th, Romano in that business. So there was not basically, if you want to count the top of the 5th as a clean inning because it was a single double play and a ground out, it technically was a 1-2-3 inning, but still it was a base runner. It wasn't clean. There was not a single clean inning for the Phillies in the afternoon section of this ball game, and I think it kind of was the same reason in game 1 on Tuesday. The only clean inning they had in that game was the 9th inning, ironically, with Jordan Romano. He was much better in game 1. I don't know what the change was for this game. It's completely weird. It really just is. So let's look through this game. Kyle Schwarber, obviously, in the bottom of the 1st, had that fly ball that died right at the warning track. Bottom of the 2nd inning, Kepler grounds out into an inning-ending double play after Castellanos singles. Bottom 3, Brandon Marsh with a 1-out walk, and Marchan with the 2-round shots on a hanging curveball. Stott then singles. So in this game, it was also very weird because Smith Shawver for the Braves, the starter in game 1, leaves early with so basically in the sequence that really led to the events of him coming out of the game. So Stott singles, it was a liner right off the calf or the Achilles of Shawver. Then it basically leaks out into the outfield. So it was a hard liner right off his leg. So he stayed in the ball game for that reason. And then during the Trey Turner at bat, just something looked weird. Like during the entire Turner at bat, he just kept flexing his arm. He just kept gripping his arm. And I think it was also during the Stott at bat as well. He just like every time he threw a pitch, he just like kept shaking off his right arm, his throwing arm, and like kept trying to flex a little bit at the same time. And then Trey Turner, I think he also hit a deep fly ball to left field that died right at the warning track. But then basically right after that, the Braves training staff, they come out to check him. Even they show it on a replay too that Spencer Strider saw something weird and he went right to the Braves pitching coach and they saw something. And I think it came out during the game as well from the Braves beat reporters that Shawver said that he felt something pop in his elbow. So that's not a good sign. That is not a good sign. He comes out of the game early, and if you hear something popping in your elbow, not the best sign. It probably means your UCL tore. It probably means your UCL is damaged and you're probably going to need Tommy John surgery. So that sucks. That sucks for him. That really does suck. Then the Braves go to the bullpen, blah, 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 blah. Phillies, Bottom of the fourth, nothing happens there after a couple of base runners on. Bottom five, Phillies do add on another run. Trey Turner on a quote-unquote infield single, which was should have been an error by Austin Riley. Did not count as an error. They counted it as a single for some reason. But then top six, Braves get a couple of runs on the board, make it 3-2. Bottom six, Phillies have a chance to respond. Nothing happens there. Bottom seven, Kyle Schwarber with the 2-route shot, makes it 4-2. And then Matt Strom allows the Braves to tie it. Murphy with a solo shot. Acuna with a 2-out double. Harris with a double as well to score the tying run. Then it's 4-4. Bottom eight, Phillies do respond. Castellanos with a leadoff single. Kepler with a walk. Sosa with a beautifully placed sacrifice bunt to move the runners to second and third base. Brendan Marsh then works a walk. Marchan in a 2-2 count gets hit by a pitch, gets hit on the foot. The run does score. Bryson Stott, though, Braves go to the bullpen. I believe they brought a lefty in. Stott with a very ugly at bat. And then Trey Turner flew out to end the inning. So no more runs could have scored. It could have been way deeper to where the ninth inning did not have to be as stressful as it was. But ninth inning, Albies leadoff walk. Then he gets caught stealing. Riley strikes out. Ozuna walks, where there was a pitch in the game in that at bat where it probably should have been a strike, realistically. But then Olsen singled, moved the runner over the third. Murphy then walked, and then White struck out. So thankfully, that game ended. So, yeah. Looking at the lineup in totality for game one, Bryson Stott 2 for 5, Trey Turner 1 for 5 with an RBI, should have been an error. Kyle Schwarber 1 for 4 with a solo shot. Alec Boehm 1 for 4. Nick Castellanos had a very good game one. He went 4 for 4 with 4 singles. Kepler, he went 0 for 3 but got robbed by Michael Harris. He also walked in the game. Edmundo Sosa 0 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. Brandon Marsh 0 for 2 with 2 walks. And then Rafael Marchan 1 for 2 with a walk and a 2-run shot and also getting hit by a pitch. So good for him. Phillies, they went 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position, so obviously the runs could have been way more. Then you go to the nightcap for tonight, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty whatsoever. Zack Wheeler, the rails just for some reason came off. 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 6 earned runs, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts on 107 pitches, and he also allowed a home run in tonight's game. So realistically, it was going very well for Zack Wheeler for the first 3 innings. Gets a couple of strikeouts in the top of the first, 1-2-3 inning in the top of the second inning, a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the third, striking at the side in that fact as well. But then top 4, everything just comes apart. Ozuna with a single, Olsen with a double, and then Riley with a double that just gets barely fair down the left field line, which scores 2 runs, becomes a 2-0 game. And then Albies' first pitch swinging on a hanging splitter just barely squeaks one over the fence. Realistically, all the balls that died in game 1 to center field, how did this ball squeak out? Not the best exit velocity. How did that ball squeak out? I guess the ball was carrying better at night for some reason. I don't know. But it's 4-0 Braves after the top of the 4th. Top 5, Wheeler doesn't allow any runs. Bottom 5 was actually the Phillies' chance to get back into the game. Wilson with a leadoff walk. Trey Turner got hit by a pitch with 2 outs. Then Kyle Schwarber walked. But then Boehm grounded out to end the inning. So that was basically their chance right there. And then you go into the top of the 4th inning. That's when the Braves tacked on more runs. 2 back-to-back walks. With 1 out to Riley and Albies, brought in Hernandez. He allowed the inherited runs to score, 2 of them, in fact, which made it 6-0. They had basically nothing there. Joe Ross on the mound in the 7th. Riley crushes a moonshot, made it 8-0. 2-run shot there. Top 8, nothing happens with DeJuice on the mound, making his major league debut, so he was just eating the final 2 innings for the Phillies. Bottom 8, the Phillies got out a couple of runs in garbage time. Schwarber with an infield single, Castellanos with a double, JT with an RBI groundout, then Edmundo Sosa with a bloop single. That scores another run, becomes 8-2. Braves tack on another run in the 9th, made it 9-2. And then the Phillies got another run with a Trey Turner RBI single in the bottom of the 9th, made it 9-3. But that's how your game ends. Oh, in totality, the Phillies had 7 hits, but realistically, they weren't doing anything against Chris Sale. Trey Turner, he went 1 for 4 with an RBI. Kyle Schwarber 1 for 4. Alec Boehm 1 for 5. Castellanos 1 for 4. JT Realmuto 1 for 4 with an RBI. Sosa 1 for 4 with an RBI. Wilson 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Bryson Stott 1 for 3 with a walk. And then Johan Rojas 0 for 4. Phillies go 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Braves had 8 hits. They just had a lot of extra base hits in this game. Riley was very good in this game as well. He had 4 RBI. So, yeah, definitely definitely a crazy thing here. But you do split the doubleheader. At the end of the day, you do end up winning the series, which matters the most at the end of the day. So, not going to overly kill them. Now, Bryce Harper didn't play or get into any of the games in this series, so I don't know what that means for him with the Milwaukee series coming up this weekend, if he's going to be ready to play or not. So we'll just basically wait and see. There really wasn't any explanation. I don't see anything post-game on Twitter or anything like that from Rob Thompson. Oh, actually, Rob, there is a post right here from Mount Patterson, so we might as well get to that. Hopefully it's a good audio, because it is from a phone recording and not from post-game live. So hopefully this is a good recording of Rob Thompson. You can hear his voice clearly.
Was Harper available off the bench in that?
Don't know. Check him out tomorrow.
Was it a positive day overall for him?
I think so, but there's still some swelling in there, and he's still got some pain. So we want to knock that out before we run him out there, because he's going to change his swing, and it could lead to a lot of problems.
Did he try to swing in the cage today?
No.
How concerned are you about Bryce?
I mean, he's going to miss a few games, I would think. Moving forward, I don't know. We'll check it out tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be. It's not an IL or anything like that. Not at this point.
So they're not expecting it to be an IL stint, but he might miss a few games. So he missed 2 games today. Most likely, I would assume he misses a couple of games against the Brewers. So would he be ready to go by Saturday or Sunday? I have no idea. That really has to deal with the swelling in the situation, because Rob said there's still a little bit of swelling in his elbow. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Most likely, I don't expect him to be in the lineup tomorrow. I know it's supposed to rain tomorrow as well, but I do think there is a stretch where they can get the game in. It's not supposed to rain until late tomorrow night, like around 8 or 9 o'clock, so there probably is a window for them. But you never know. You never know if they're just like, we're not going to risk it. We'll just play another goddamn doubleheader or something like that. I don't think the Phillies would want to do that, 2 doubleheaders in the span of a week. I just don't think they would like to do that. So we'll see. We'll see. But, yeah. What else is there? What else is there? I'm trying to see if there's anything on Twitter that just talks about Phillies or anything like that. I don't think that there is. I don't think there is. Yeah, right now my entire Twitter update is basically just the Western Conference Final with the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars, because this game is absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. So yeah, you won a series. That is the most important thing at the end of the day. Now we'll see what happens when you face the Milwaukee Brewers. Rhys Hoskins coming back into town. We don't have any voicemails here on the Anytime Hotline. We do have a couple of guys in the chat. We got a text from Steven saying that 2 of 3 is what they needed to do onto the Brewers. Piling up these series wins is the job. Right way to look at it. It's the right way to look at it. But I do think the bullpen is still a major cause for concern. And we talk about this basically every day, every game. The bullpen, they need to address it. They really do need to address it. And it's also going back to Matt Strahm, too. He can't be the only high leverage reliever that you have that is a lefty. And I think him without Jose Alvarado, it's kind of exposing him a little bit. He has not been good since Jose Alvarado went under suspension. So they really do need to get another lefty in that bullpen, because Matt Strahm cannot be the only guy. And no, it's not Tanner Banks. It's not Tanner Banks. I don't care how solid his numbers look. I don't care how his baseball savant looks. Tanner Banks is not a high leverage guy. He just is not. They need to fix that somehow. That's why I keep hammering for Ranger to go to the bullpen. But they can't do that right now, obviously. So if we look at the Milwaukee Brewers series, Game 1 on Friday, 6:45. It'll be Taijuan Walker getting a start against Quinn Priester. He's 1-2 with a 4.23 ERA. In his last 4 starts, he has given up, it looks like 6 earned runs. Yeah, 6 earned runs in his last 4 starts. And then before that, he allowed 7 earned runs to the Chicago Cubs. It is what it is. It's a guy that you should be able to hit in theory. Then on Saturday, it's Jesus Luzardo against Chad Patrick. That is a great name. 2-4 with a 2.97 ERA. And then on Sunday, it is Ranger Suarez against right now a to-be-determined pitcher. To-be-determined pitcher. And what's the Brewers' record right now? They're 29-28, and they're on a 4-game winning streak after sweeping the Boston Red Sox. And then following that, they split a series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. So it looks like they're very hot or very cold, but just look at their previous stretch. So they swept the Red Sox. They split a 4-gamer against the Pirates. They won a series against Baltimore. They lost a series to Minnesota. They lost a series to Cleveland. They lost a series to Tampa Bay. They won a series against Houston, and they lost a series against Chicago. So I guess in the factor that they're very hot and cold. I guess they're a 500 team. You should be able to win this series. Are they dealing with any injuries? Brandon Woodruff, he is in a rehab stint. Jose Quintana, he is also on a rehab. Here we go. Here we go. If Sean was in the chat right here, he'd be laughing at this. This is an update right here. Jose Quintana, I forgot he was even on the Brewers. Quintana's shoulder is preparing to come off the injured list to start Sunday against the Phillies. Phillies can never get away from Jose Quintana. Crazy. And Quintana this year for the Brewers, he's 4-1 with a 2.65 ERA. So, he's been solid for them for some reason. I don't know why. This guy just seems to get better with age. I don't know why. I don't know why. Anybody else that warrants or things with injuries? I don't think so. Don't think so. Just looking at everything else in totality. The Brewers, they are not a good team on the road. It looks like they are 11-18 on the road. They're a good home team. They're not a good road team from the looks of it. Yeah, if I look at their just splits in general. Yeah, they are not a good road team. They are a really great team at home, not a good team on the road. They've also won 4 in a row coming into this, so they are playing better baseball. But still, in theory, they are a team that you should beat, in theory. Yeah, that's basically it. That's basically it. I don't think there's anything else. It will be Rhys Hoskins coming back into town. What's Rhys doing on the air? What's Rhys doing on the air? What's he doing? What's he doing? Where is he at? Rhys, what you doing? What are you doing, my man? Rhys Hoskins, he's batting .282 with 7 home runs and 29 RBIs and an .843 OPS. Good for you. Good for you, Rhys. Good for you. I know a lot of people in the Phillies fandom were like, oh, trade back for Rhys Hoskins at the deadline. He definitely would be a useful bat for you. What are you going to do? We do have a trade here. Okay. It's nothing really major. This is from Anthony Sanfilippo of Von Pattison. The Phillies have acquired left-handed pitcher Josh Walker from the Blue Jays in exchange for cash considerations. Walker was optioned to Lehigh Valley. He fills the open spot on their 40-man roster. Walker, 30 years old, who was DFA'd by Toronto, has had 3 brief stints in the majors, 2 with the Mets in 23 and 24 this year with the Blue Jays. He's tossed 27 and 1/3 career innings, and he has a 6.59 ERA. Holy fucking shit. That is desperation. That is desperation where we're looking to the waiver wire. My God. My God. I don't know why they're going for that guy. Don't know why. Don't know why. Whatever. Whatever. Most likely he will not be pitching against the Brewers. Man. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff here, boys. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There's nothing really else on the Twitterverse. Nothing really much on the Phillies. No, nothing really much else. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. So I'll get to you guys in the chat right here. Then we'll end it off. Michael, how you doing? I am truly concerned with the Phillies bullpen, especially in October. At least we won the series, though. Zach Wheeler is going to have bad games every once in a while. Yeah, I'm not going to kill him. There's no reason to. I was flipping my shit earlier when Strahm blew the save, but we won the series. That's really all we can ask for in this situation. Not a big fan of doubleheaders. Mets open season on the Phillies batters. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Did Kyle hit a home run in game 2? No, he hit a home run in game 1. He hit a home run in game 1. Tyler says he's low-key rooting for the Stars. It's probably going to be Edmonton. They're winning 5-3 now. Every time Dallas gets within reach, Edmonton makes it a 2-goal game again. So, it's most likely going to be Edmonton and Florida in the finals again. That's what it's going towards. So, yeah. I think that'll do it for today, everybody. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. we'll see what happens this weekend with the Phils and the Brewers. Debating whether I want to do a day-by-day series recap or just wait till the series ends. I'm not entirely sure. I do want to check the weather real quickly just to make sure what the weather is supposed to look like for tomorrow, because it does say it's supposed to rain. So it went from 90% earlier to 75%, but I'll see what they're saying for tomorrow. Let me look at the hourly forecast. So by 8 o'clock, that's when the rain's really supposed to start kicking in. Then it's basically supposed to rain overnight, and there probably is a window for them to play. It's just realistically how long are they going to be able to play the game for? So, can you get the game official by then? I have no idea, but they'll most likely try to play. So yeah, we'll wait and see. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to drop a like and leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. You can also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal. Don't pass it up. And also leave a follow at TTP Sports on TikTok and Instagram. So appreciate you guys for hanging out and tuning in.